Hi, everybody. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about lower back pain. So, one of the more common things that does come into the office, and something that most people will experience at some point in their life, is lower back pain. Now, for quite a few people, including myself, we've been told that low back pain is coming because our hamstrings are just way too tight. I don't know about you, but me personally, I can stretch my hamstrings until the cows come home and it's not making a bit of difference. So let's talk about this for a little bit. What are some of the different things that can be going on that causes our hamstrings to tighten and not release when stretched? Well, most commonly, it's actually coming from one of two places. Either our pelvis is coming too far forwards. So we're doing this, giving ourselves a duck butt. That's actually going to cause our hamstrings to tighten quite a bit. And if we have duck butt or our pelvis is anteriorly rotated, no matter how much stretching we do, those hamstrings are not going to loosen. The second thing that can be going on, and that I do see quite often in the office, is the very upper part of the neck is shifted forwards. And if it does shift forwards, that just creates a huge amount of tension through all of the muscles in our body. The signals from the lower part of the brainstem, which controls muscle tension at rest, is just not going to be correct. And it's going to cause the muscles to tighten when they shouldn't. And when that happens, again, no amount of stretching that you do is going to make a bit of difference. So usually it's one of those two situations, and for some people, quite frankly, it's both. So if it's coming from the upper neck, the only thing that you really can do is correct what's going on with the upper neck, and those muscles will loosen. It's not a short-term fix, and it won't be a short-term fix for low back pain. If it's coming from that anterior rotation of your pelvis, again, the best thing to do is to get your pelvis released so that it does sit back better. And again, if you have both issues going on, you really need to take care of both things in order to get the muscles to ease out. But what can we do in the short term? Say you can't get in to see your chiropractor or your physio, you're having a lot of pain and you just need some relief from that low back pain immediately. What can you do? Well, the good news is there are a few things that you can try. Stretching your hamstrings, unfortunately, is not one of them. So when the hamstrings tighten, there's a few different things going on. The first thing that's usually going on is the hip flexor. So we call it the psoas muscle. That hip flexor actually starts from up in our lower back along those lower ribs. It goes down through the front of our pelvis and attaches right about here in the leg. And that muscle action is to bend. So going from sitting to standing, bending forwards, lifting our leg, those are all actions that muscle does. And if that muscle tightens, it pulls our pelvis forwards and our hamstrings tighten in response. That, a lot of times, is usually the big part of back pain. And if we can get that hip flexor to release, the hamstrings release and the back pain eases off. So that's what we're going to really focus on at the moment, is what can you do to get that to happen. So real quick and easy, first thing I always have patients do is lie on your back with your knees bent. You do that because it actually allows that muscle to relax a tiny bit. Then you're going to come in and you can feel right in through this area right here is the pelvic bone. And if you take your fingertips and you place it on that pelvic bone and come in just towards the center, so in and down, you can push right in on that muscle. For most people, it's going to be quite tender. If you just apply some pressure right along there for just a few moments, 30 seconds to a minute, is usually enough to get that muscle to release. So that's the first thing that you can try to help release that hip flexor. A couple of other things that you can try are some stretches. So the first stretch is whichever side is bothering you. So if your left lower back is bothering you, you're going to put your left leg behind you in a lunge. Okay? You'll get a little bit of stretch in through here, but then what you're going to do is bring your shoulders back so that you're lunging like this. That is going to really stretch right through the front part of your leg in that hip flexor. You'll also feel it right in through here. That is going to release that psoas muscle, that hip flexor, quite easily. And that's going to give you quite a bit of pain relief as well. So those are some of the short-term things that you can do to help relieve lower back pain. Keep in mind, it is very short-term. It will come back as long as your pelvis is anteriorly rotated or your neck is not moving correctly. So you do need to sort both of those things to help in the long term, as well as probably strengthen a few other muscles like your glutes as well. So hopefully that will give you a little bit of insight into how you can, in the short term, deal with some of your lower back pain. And, like I said, always deal with the long-term aspects as well. Otherwise, you'll continue to battle the same issues over and over.